I find it interesting that the coordinate at the border is 32 degrees. Remember, America has gematria of 32, just like the numerology of 7/4/1776. Again, where we started in the beginning, this shooting came 187 days after the death of Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's. 187, the homicide code in California. Oak Brook, Illinois, the headquarters of McDonald's. 187, gematria. Oak Brook also equals 88, like poison program, and I should have wrote it up here, California. California equals 88. There's that Illinois 99. We saw a lot of that. Notice that McDonald's established as a corporation on the 105th day of the year in the year 55. Same year Disneyland opened, the word Satan equals 55. Zionism and Masonry equal 105. A lot of people say Freemasonry is Satanism in disguise. Ray Kroc died January 14th, being the man to establish the first McDonald's in San Bernardino. Remember, this year's San Bernardino shooting came 114 days after the city's birthday, which we'll talk more about. The date he died on, January 14th, 84, that is a date with gematria that equals the word death in Jewish gematria. In Jewish gematria, death equals 118, just like the numerology of the date. It's also a date with 37 numerology. Chicago, the small way, equals 37. Also a date with 99 numerology, like Illinois, like San Ysidro, McDonald's, Massacre. Sorry for being redundant. I just want to make sure it sinks in. A lot of people watch my videos for the first time. It's a lot of information to absorb. I try to make sure the points make it home. Ray Kroc also died in San Diego, right next to San Ysidro. Shares the gematria of Masonic. All of these men are Masonic men. Ray Kroc, a Freemason. Freemasons all over the place. Notice that Ray, the nickname he went by, had that 44 gematria, the kill number. Kroc, 47, that number of the Zionists. Should note that Mafia in Jewish gematria equals 47. You ever seen the movie Frank White in King of New York, played by Christopher Walken? His birthday in that movie, if you pay attention, when they show it on the police stats, is April 7th, 4-7, or 7-4, like Mafia in Jewish gematria. And this world really is run by a mafia. It's not the Italians portrayed in the movies. If you pay attention to those Italian mobster movies, all those Italians usually have a boss above them, and it's a Jew, just like in The Sopranos. And it is these Zionist Jews who control the media, and a whole lot more. San Bernardino, California, in simple English gematria also sums to 222. It was established August 10th, the 222nd day of the year. Bernardino equals 55. Remember, McDonald's incorporated in the year 55. Ray Kroc put out his book, Grinding It Out, in the year 77. The title of the gematria is 77 with another 55 coded. No coincidence, truth seeker. And right now, in Chicago, Illinois, at the same time as the San Bernardino shooting headlines, it's this. No charges against Chicago police officer who shot Ronald Johnson. More headlines meant to provoke. Here's the story of another illegitimate killing of a black youth in Chicago. It comes out at the same time as the story of Laquan McDonald, Ronald and McDonald. And all these stories coming out along with the San Bernardino shooting. Notice the names Ronald Johnson and Laquan McDonald, these connections to 60 and 51. The word conspiracy has gematria of 51 and 60. Think about Area 51. These stories are from October. October, the only month with 33 gematria, one of the favorite numbers that the Masons and Zionists love to code. Israel established with a 33-member vote by the United Nations in the year 47 on the 333rd day of the year. The United Nations symbol is the flat earth model broken up into 33 parts. An interesting thing to note. But October, police, race war, all 33 gematria. One of the biggest race war police incidents was the beating of Rodney King on March 3rd by the LAPD, which also has gematria 33. San Bernardino Truth Seeker, just so you can see it, established August 10th, 1869. This year, the shooting in San Bernardino was on December 2nd, 114 days after its birthday, or 3 months and 22 days. August 10th, the 222nd day of the year, San Bernardino, the big way, 222, the small way, 114. See how they do it, Truth Seeker? History by the numbers, this gematria language, a very real practice used by the elites, hidden from the mainstream. McDonald's Wikipedia page says it operates in 119 countries. I don't know if that's true, but I know why Wikipedia puts it up there. It's run by these Masons and Zionists too. That's who edits this thing. Star of David, all-seeing eye, 119 gematria. Both of these symbols coded onto the dollar bill, which predate Israel by a long run. The Zionists, they've been around. They're older than Israel. You learn about the world wars. They were all fought for Zionism. And right now, with these hoaxes, these manufactured shooting hoaxes, especially the one in San Bernardino, they are leading us to another world war, World War III. We talked about the significance of 114 in San Bernardino. Check this out, if you're new here. World War, 114. Pearl Harbor, 114. Holocaust, 114. So much 114. In World War II, World War I, Truth Seeker. I write this name Winston up here because it was the leader of Britain during World War II, Winston Churchill. Also, the book 1984 has the main character Winston, and it was written about a futuristic nation that is ruled by tyranny and is always at war, but the people don't know why. That book's called 1984. The main character is Winston. Notice that United States of America in Pythagorean gematria sums to 84. And right now, a lot of these shooting hoaxes that mix in the Al-Qaeda narrative, the ISIS narrative, they have this number coded with it. We're also living in the time of the 114th Congress right now. You know who the leader was of Congress, the 114th, until just recently, due to resigning? John Boehner. And just behind him in command for all that time was Orrin Hatch, who spells his name in a very weird way with 2 R's. No coincidence, Truth Seeker. This numbers, names thing, it's no joke. We're talking about 1984. Don't forget, we're talking about a shooting from 1984. And I'll make one more point. 33, Truth Seeker, a very important number. Winston the Small Way's 33. 33 years from 1984 is 2017. And right now, for those of us awake, it might be a really frustrating year next year, 2016, because this propaganda might become more fast, more furious than it already is, and the people around you might refuse to wake up, and that might be a lot to bear. Keep in mind, though, that that's what you should prepare for mentally. They're taking us to an agenda. That agenda might be in 2017, still more than a year away as I speak this now, in the end of 2015. These people work by the numbers, and spans of 33 years have been big in history. In 1968, 33 years before 2001, 911 made the National Emergency Dialing Code. World Trade Center construction started, and George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. All 33 years before 2001, when Bush became president, and 911 and the World Trade Center became intertwined. Also in 68, Space Odyssey 2001 came out. Same year, MLK and RFK assassinated, by the numbers. So 33 years after 84, that's a year I'm definitely very curious about. That's the year the 45th president is supposed to take office, unless something happens sooner. Now, Truth Seeker, talking about government, talking about McDonald's, talking about news media, people need to come to terms with what kind of nation they live in. The reason so many people are clueless is because they've never taken the time to learn the truth about this nation and what's really going on with our leadership in the federal government. There is all sorts of information out there, Truth Seeker, on the back door between Wall Street and the CIA. How people go from high places in the CIA to executive suites in Wall Street, the corporate world. There is very much a backdoor relationship. This nation is a fascist nation, and I want to make a point about the definition of fascism. In 1984, a point of the book is how Winston works in this place that edits language, getting rid of words, creating new words, getting rid of memories, constant programming and reprogramming. We live in this age of the internet where information easily disappears. So many of us get all of our information from the web, and years after the fact, a lot of times that information is flushed from the web. The definition of fascism has changed over time. The original definition was the merger of state and industry. Think about the nation you live in. A government that is ruled by lobbyists who represent corporations, giant industry. And we live in a nation where the majority of us are fed 80% of our diet from 5 mega corporations that control the majority of farming and agriculture. We live in a very insane age where millions of people are at the reliance of very few. We live in a fascist state. Corporation, government, it is essentially one and the same. McDonald's has as much power over our lives as our government officials do, if not more. You see how it works. These corporations, they want certain things done for food. Those things get passed in Congress. They want labeling, food labeling squashed. They don't want the consumer to know what chemicals are in the food. They win. The corporation always wins over the interest of the people in this world. These are the clear signs of what's going on in the fascist state. There's all this information on the surface. Then you start looking at what I'm investigating, showing you this kind of stuff, how the death of Ray Kroc syncs up with the worst shooting massacre at a McDonald's restaurant 187 days later, which now syncs up in 2015 with purposefully divisive headlines provoking black Americans. For anyone watching this who's upset that I'm saying that there's no Laquan McDonald, there's no Ronald Johnson, it's not that I don't recognize that black youth are mistreated by police every day. I used to work for a teen homeless shelter and defend black youth from police who are just looking to pin something on any youth. There's all sorts of this shit going on out there. I'm totally aware of that. No one's standing up for those kids. There's no stories about those kids, but there's endless stories of made up, purposefully provoking information. And that's what I'm exposing. I just want people to wake up. So, I hope the message is coming through. I don't know what else to say, Truth Seeker. If somebody watches this video and thinks this is all a coincidence, I'm just afraid that person can never be reached. But you guys who are awake to this and who understand it, I need you to share the message. Time is running out. If 2017 is the year, that really isn't all that far away. And we might not want to see 2017 if we're not, moved on to a better path that these madmen have us on right now. We need to be moved off this path. Put ourselves on a better one. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.